What if the most famous skyscraper in America was once considered a failure? Today, the Empire State Building stands as one of the most recognizable structures on Earth, a symbol of New York City, American ambition, and human engineering. Millions of people visit it every year. Photographers capture its silhouette, and movies have turned it into a cultural icon. But when it opened in 1931, the world saw something very different. The tallest building ever created had a major problem. Almost nobody wanted to rent space inside it. During one of the worst economic crises in American history, a group of investors built a massive tower that many believed would never succeed. So, how did a nearly empty skyscraper become one of the greatest architectural achievements of all time? The story begins in the roaring 1920s, when New York City was transforming into the center of global business and culture. The city's skyline became a symbol of competition, with wealthy developers racing to build taller and more impressive structures. Skyscrapers were no longer just practical office spaces, they represented power, progress, and the future. The competition became especially intense when developers began fighting for the title of the world's tallest building. One of the men determined to win that race was John Jacob Raskob, a businessman who believed America needed a landmark that represented confidence and innovation. His vision was simple but ambitious: create the tallest building on Earth. He partnered with architect William F. Lamb, who designed a structure that combined Art Deco elegance with advanced engineering. The goal was not just to build a tall building, but to create a symbol that would define an era. However, before construction could even begin, the world changed dramatically. In October 1929, the stock market crashed, sending the United States into the Great Depression. Businesses collapsed, unemployment exploded, and investors became cautious. Many people questioned whether building a giant office tower during an economic disaster made any sense at all. Despite the uncertainty, construction moved forward in 1930. Thousands of workers arrived every day to build what seemed impossible. Steel beams rose higher and higher above Manhattan. Workers operated at incredible speed, sometimes completing multiple floors in a single week. The project created thousands of jobs during a time when work was desperately needed. For many families, the Empire State Building represented more than a construction project. It represented survival. The engineering behind the building was extraordinary. The steel framework allowed workers to assemble the structure quickly, and careful planning made it possible to complete the skyscraper in just around 20 months. When finished, the Empire State Building reached 1,250 feet to the roof and 1,454 feet, including its antenna. It officially became the tallest building in the world, taking the title from the nearby Chrysler Building. On May 1, 1931, the Empire State Building officially opened. President Herbert Hoover activated the building's lights from Washington, D.C., marking a historic moment. Newspapers celebrated the achievement, and the world admired America's newest architectural wonder. But behind the celebration was a serious problem. The building was almost empty. The Great Depression had devastated the economy. Companies were not expanding into expensive new offices. Many businesses were struggling just to survive. The owners had created the tallest skyscraper in history, but there were not enough tenants to fill it. People began mocking the building, calling it the Empty State Building. The nickname reflected a harsh reality. The dream of creating a profitable business center had not happened. The building generated little income compared to its enormous cost. Some people believed it was a monument to poor timing and unrealistic ambition. For years, the Empire State Building struggled, but then something unexpected happened. The building became more than an office tower. It became a symbol of imagination. In 1933, Hollywood changed everything. The movie King Kong featured the giant ape climbing the Empire State Building, creating one of the most famous scenes in cinema history. The skyscraper was no longer just a place where people worked. It became a character in popular culture. Around the world, people recognized its shape and associated it with New York City itself. Tourism also helped transform its reputation. Visitors wanted to experience the view from the observation deck and stand above Manhattan. The building became one of the city's biggest attractions. Its height also made it valuable for radio and television broadcasting, adding another purpose beyond office space. Slowly, companies began filling its offices. The building that was once criticized became one of the most desirable addresses in America. Its reputation changed from failure to triumph. Over the decades, the Empire State Building survived countless challenges. New skyscrapers eventually surpassed it in height. Technology changed the way people worked. Cities evolved. But the building remained a powerful symbol. During World War II and the decades that followed, it represented American strength and determination. For immigrants arriving in New York Harbor, it became one of the first unforgettable images of their new home. For architects and engineers, it represented what could happen when ambition met innovation. Today, the Empire State Building is more than steel, stone, and glass. It represents an important lesson about taking risks during uncertain times. The people who built it could not guarantee success. They faced criticism, financial pressure, and a struggling economy. Yet they created something that lasted for generations. The skyscraper that once stood nearly empty became one of the most famous buildings in human history. Its story is not just about architecture. It is about vision, resilience, and believing in the future when others see only failure. So the next time you look at the Empire State Building, remember this. One of America's greatest landmarks was once considered one of its biggest mistakes. Do you think building the Empire State Building during the Great Depression was an act of genius or a reckless gamble? Share your thoughts in the comments.